Magic go live button. Okay.
Let's
There we go. We're live.
We are
So what's
live.
up?
Dude, I'm in India, trying to run my business, trying to take care of my mom, and trying to, make it all happen together. What about you?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch of stuff going on, but
Yeah. What's going on?
a lot of just back to school stuff for one. I mean, if we're just talking about like, general family stuff. I think I talked a little bit about my brother and his situation last time. They woke him up on Friday. My other brother took him to rehab, so hopefully
Woke him
that's
up? What do you mean? Like he was in some
they
other
sedated him in the ICU
for
because when
what?
he was coming down off of the drugs that he took, he was
Oh my
fighting.
God. What kind of drugs was he on?
I don't know.
These were like self-induced?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, there's a bunch of family drama around it that I'm not going to get into, but yeah.
Let's not do that.
But the thrust of it is that he's okay, but been dealing with some of the fallout of that mostly last weekend, just making sure that everybody had what they needed to make sure that he could get to rehab and stuff like that. So so I have 4 brothers and 5 sisters. One of my other brothers kind of took the lead on most of that, so I didn't have to do a whole lot, but just checked in with him a couple of times to make sure that if he needed anything, he had it. So yeah. And then I upped my triathlon training, which means that I'm completely exhausted. I'm so tired.
Good for you.
But man, yeah. But as far as the business stuff goes, there are a couple of things that are going on. So the first one is I had a call on Wednesday with a company that wants to represent me and sell ads on my shows. And they're doing it for a couple of other podcasts in the programming space. Syntax.fm is one. They're a big JavaScript show. And they're also representing, what was it? Software Engineering Daily with Jeff Myers. So anyway, I was like, oh yeah, you want to fill this up? Awesome. So I significantly increased their inventory. They're not sure what September holds just as far as what they can line up on this short of notice, but they're basically like, look, we're pretty sure we can fill your inventory. It's just going to take us a few months to figure out where all the right companies are, but they're fairly confident they can fill up at least the 3 bigger shows pretty fast. So
love it. What percentage or how is this going to break down with you?
Yeah, they want 30% commission.
Okay.
But I'm pretty okay with that because it takes most of it off of my plate. I just have to make sure we deliver. So
yeah. It's 30%, yeah.
Yep.
That's a good, it's not a bad bargain for where you're at with this.
Well, and I was thinking about it too, as far as like, so I wind up having to, take my eye off the ball with this other stuff every time that I'm chasing sponsors. So it costs me that way, whether or not it works out. And then the other issue is if I eventually wind up hiring a salesperson, they're going to want 15% or so. And I'd still have to, manage them and train them and all that stuff. So this is an easy way to get it moving. And then I figure if things change later down the line and I feel like I need to bring it back in house, I can, but it's not.
As long as it's a good deal for both of you, you keep doing it.
Yep. Yeah, as long as it makes sense. And I honestly,
what were those people asking for the other one?
So they charged some fee on top of my rate. So this, we just set the rate together and then they take 30%. So I don't know what they were making on top of what I was selling them at.
Hmm.
But anyway, and it's probably a company that you've heard of that does it. They do a whole bunch of other advertising on the internet. But the thing is if I have more, because eventually there are other things that I want to do that they could also conceivably find me sponsorship or advertising for. So, I'm happy to have them, around and feed the beast. So, I'm pretty happy and pretty excited about it for the most part, because they can go chase all this down. They can go figure it out. They're talking to some companies that I've already worked with in the past, but that's fine. They're not currently advertising with me. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the game. Like, you can't really
Yep.
pick and choose and say, hey, you're not gonna let
Yeah,
them
I
bring
have
all the contracts, except for
Yeah.
the things that you have contracts for.
Yep. So I have like 2 or 3 current sponsors that I've got to, we'll figure things out for, and then one that I've been negotiating on for the last couple of weeks, that if I can get to land myself, I'll land it, and then I'll just let them know, and then I'll hand them off after that contract ends, is basically how I'll do that. But
I would agree with that.
But yeah, for the rest of it, that's kind of what we're looking at. So, and they've been really good about, we actually had a call last Wednesday, which is when I got the phone call from my mom about my brother. And so they were good about rescheduling. It wasn't a big deal. And yeah, I'm pretty honestly, I'm pretty excited to just see if we can make this work and make the money come in that way. I don't know that it'll be enough necessarily for me to quit my job, at least not for the next few months. But it's definitely a chunk of change that I can cover all the expenses and maybe take a little bit and, either reinvest in the business or, pay off some debt or, however that works out. So anyway, it'll be really, really good.
Yeah. I think it's a good compromise at this stage. Not compromise, but actually it's not a compromise. Because then you can just focus on your core business, which is,
Focus on
or your core competency, which is growing the network or growing the audience. And because sales isn't really your core competency here in this business so far. So you might as well just let someone else do what you're not the best in the world at right now.
Yeah, I feel like I've proven capability in it, but it's really not my thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it, but at what cost?
I can do it.
Like,
yeah,
would you
exactly.
bring 70% of the money that they're going to bring you? Probably not. And with the time and energy and effort it will take you, probably not.
Right.
So you might as well just, go with that and see how it does.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is even if they bring in about the same as what I would do, it's still,
you're not doing enough work.
It's not my time. It's yeah. And so, I can go and I can pursue the other areas.
How much are they saying is the CPM in your space right now?
Between $40 and $50, which is about where I've been clocking in. So
that's not bad at all.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not that concerned over that. I think I figured it out. So 50 CPM, and if we get 60,000 downloads per month or per week,
that's $30K.
Yeah.
And 70% of that would be $20K per week. If they can fill all of it.
They can fill all of it. So yeah. And if they can fill all of it, if they can fill half of it, then I can quit my job. So
yeah. So
and then I can go create this other stuff where I want to be creating it, right? So
yeah.
So yeah, so that's been
let's hope they actually can blow it up for you the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the companies they're talking about, I know have sponsored us in the past. And I think we can probably get them to come back. But the other thing is, they're filling spots for Syntax and for Software Engineering Daily. So
I miscalculated for $50 CPM at three at $50 CPM for $60,000. It's $3,000, not $30,000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So so it comes out to about 12,000 a month.
Yeah. And you
I'm pretty
get
sure that we
70%,
can.
so you get 8,400 out of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Like I said, if that's the way the numbers come out, then I'll have to find some other way to supplement it or grow the audiences or both. But
I mean,
I'm
are you
better
only
at
getting
that.
60K total per month right now across
Per
all
week.
networks?
About
Per
60K
week.
per week. Yeah.
Yeah, so 60K per week would lead you to 3K per month, 3K per week. Okay, so 12K per
Yeah.
month. So you're getting $240,000 a month right now, $250,000 per month.
Something like
Total.
that. Yeah.
$240,000 at CPM of $50. Yeah, around 30,000 is what it is going to be.
Yeah. But still, I mean, $8,400, that definitely solves some problems around here. So
Yeah. You still
but we're
need to
also they're going to
supplement
be
the income
selling
with
them.
something or another.
Yeah. But they're going to be selling them with the bonus episodes. And so they're actually going to come in a little bit higher than that, but still.
Yeah, possibly. But you're also going to try and use those bonus episodes to sell something that you care for.
Right. So that kind of brings us to the other thing is, so we talked last time about, working on the funnel, stuff like that. And as I kind of worked through that in my head, and you can tell me that I've wasted a whole bunch of effort on this, but most of the people that I've talked to and most of the people that I've worked with, once they got the podcast launched, that's kind of when they, started pulling out of the coaching, right? Because they felt like they had gotten what they wanted. And so I was talking to some folks, and I've decided to actually just launch a podcast launch course boot camp thing. And so it's going to be a 4-week deal. It's going to have the weekly coaching calls, QA calls.
I would say 8 weeks.
8 weeks. Why 8 weeks?
It's enough time for people to actually realistically launch a podcast.
You can do it in 4. You can do it in 2 if you're really fast.
You can do it in 1. Like I could probably do it in 3 days from today. But most people who have a job, who have a business, like to come up with the concept, to come up with the angle, the theme, the guests, record, publish, market. Like you can launch, but doesn't mean you're going to have a spectacular launch or something that will get you a ton of audience. Right.
Yeah.
So I like that angle. Launch your tech podcast and to launch your tech podcast so that you can, you can grow whatever you want. If it's happening again and again where people are just not staying beyond the point of podcast launch, it's obvious that that's what they need. It's all they need really from you.
Yeah. So I'm going to put that together, and then I'm probably going to put something together around ongoing content, because what I found is that once I got them going and they pulled out, then they started coming back and saying, okay, now what do you have for me as far as like ongoing content? And I'll give them some of that as part of the boot camp.
Hang on. People who had pulled out, they came back again?
Well, they didn't come back for coaching, but they were like, I'm struggling with, coming up with content, especially if they were doing it on their own without interviews and stuff. Like the interview shows.
Well, in that case, it was obvious. Like, why didn't you say come back to the program then?
I did, and it never quite worked out.
What did they say?
Never quite worked out. The one guy, then it went back to, well, I don't have time. Because I was like, okay, well, here's what you've got to do, and well, I don't have time.
You should not be doing, here's what you got to do. There's more like, come join me.
Yeah.
Or the mastermind again, and I'll show you what to do next.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Because by saying what you're going to do next, you lost the sale.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You don't want to do that,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So anyway, I kind of based this off of so Cliff, I talked to Cliff again, and his, because I was curious how he did his, because he had podcasting A to Z. It was a 4-week course. That's where I got the 4 weeks from. And yeah, he doesn't run podcasting A to Z anymore. He hasn't for like 4 years. And so he was totally happy to help me figure that out. I mean, he didn't give me any of his content or anything, or even an outline, but that's fine, because I'm fairly confident that we can get people up and launched and sounding terrific on their show in 4 weeks. So, and this seems to be what people want. So I'm going to go with it. And then, yeah, I'll see what we launch to follow on to it. Right. So then I'm hoping what'll happen is they'll go through the course, and then I'll say, okay, well, let's start working on your growth and your content, and see if I can pitch them into group coaching that way.
That's one angle. I like that. You almost have to set it up like that.
Yeah.
As soon as they show up, you're like, okay, by the way, I got something, I'm going to teach you exactly what to do to launch your podcast. And I have another advanced program, which is all about growing the podcast and monetizing the podcast. I have connections with networks that can get you,
well, that's
$40 CPM.
Well, that's been the thing with especially the tech content, was like a couple of my folks that I coached, they stuck around when I could connect them with people to interview, right? So it was, hey, I'm looking to get connected with people who know about these things, right? And they're all things that I've covered on the shows. And so it was, okay, well, let me do the warm intros. And so then what they were doing is they were sticking around for me to go off my network. The one guy that pushed back and said, I'm not sure what to do with content. And I just looked at him and I said, you figured out your audience avatar. Like, what do they need? Right. But he didn't want to do interviews. He wanted to do content on his own and show his own expertise, which makes sense because he was selling freelancing. But it's like, look, you can sit down and you can figure out what people are after. You can go on Facebook and figure out what they're asking about. Go on LinkedIn, see what they're asking about. What kinds of things are your current clients struggling with that you're helping them with, right? I'm like, you've got a myriad of places to go for content, right? Yeah. And the answers, but yeah, I think it really just boiled down to that he didn't want to sit down and figure it out. But and so then he canceled his coaching like right after that.
Well, the way you approached it is, in some ways, you need to give him a specific plan of action rather than give him like 1,000 things to do.
Right.
So you're gonna lose clients if you.
I like that. Here's the process. I like that. I like that. Just nailing it down. Here's the process for figuring out what your content should look like, right? Whether it be interviews or solo content or, you and a co-host or whatever, right? The process is pretty similar. The difference is if you're finding guests, eventually it's going to culminate in inviting somebody to come on your show.
Yeah.
The other is going to culminate in outlining the content, making sure that it's ready to record.
So yeah, giving them precise, like, this is what you need to do. Go to Facebook groups, do this, and then do that, and then do this.
Yeah.
That is way, way, way better than
I
go
agree.
to Facebook groups or go to LinkedIn or go have a call with them or do this or do that, right?
Yeah.
That's going to only create.
I definitely agree with you. I should have done that instead and just said, hey,
give them one piece of yeah, this is what you
Yeah.
should do. And then next week, okay, now go to Reddit and do this research.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now go to Quora and do this research. Now go to
Right.
Stack Overflow and do this research.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it makes total sense. I mean, because that's what we do
Yeah. I mean, otherwise people just get overwhelmed.
for our content. Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
We go to all those places and, oh, there's a really good question here, or hey, there's a really great piece of content here. We're going to interview the author, or So we have that process
Exactly.
outlined. So yeah, I just need to break that down and send people there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more or less where I'm at.
I mean, I think it's a good niche. Launch your tech podcast in 4 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever you choose it to be.
Mhm.
Launch your tech podcast. Launch your tech podcast.
Yeah.
Launch your top podcast. Launch your if you want, you can try this and see if this is something of interest to you. Is that the domain name you picked?
Yeah, I picked up podcastbootcamp.io.
Okay. There's another one I looked at, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, podcastbootcamp.io is good.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm planning on adding a video to the front of it.
What do you mean?
So on the landing page, I want to have a video that just kind of explains who I am and what the course is as well.
For what? Oh, as a VSL? So you're
Yeah,
going to create a
basically.
course. You're not even going to sell it through a coaching program now or through a call?
I'm going to try and sell it that way, but I'm also just going to let people know about it on the.
No. You got to pick one sales mechanism. You're not going to pick 20 sales mechanisms and try this and try that. You're going to pick one and you can go with it.
I think I'm going to push it on my email list and podcast then and do a proper launch.
Well, then you need a sales page. Then you're going to, okay. So
yeah,
big difference between the two approaches. Okay. And you got to be careful with this. Either you write a sales page and then you go work the sales page for at least a couple of months before it actually feels like anything solid that's going to be useful. Or you carry on with what you're doing, except that in this case, you don't sell the coaching, you sell the bootcamp.
Right.
So pick one. Don't try to do both. You're going to just harass your brains out.
Okay.
100%. That's only going to make you miserable.
Yep. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So which one are you going to do? That's your thing. Ideally, what is it, like $2,000 price point is what you're going to sell, or $1,000 price points?
2,000.
2,000, right? 1,000, 2,000 is what it's going to be. Yeah, dude. Writing a sales page for that is going to take some work. It ain't easy. Selling a $2,000 program, it won't be just a sales page. It will be probably a webinar.
Yeah.
It's going to be either you're going to sell through a webinar, or you're going to sell through phone. And I think your better bet is to initially sell through phone just to understand exactly what people need.
Mm-hmm.
And once you have enough phone calls done, then you convert it into a webinar. To simplify your sales process, you could potentially just sell directly through the webinar.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a hard time just working the webinar. Because the problem is you're not getting that many leads. So even if you had like 200 leads, 500 leads, 1,000 leads, that's not enough number of leads to sell course again and again and again. But on a
well, I was selling something else when I was selling the coaching. I wasn't pitching it as hey, let me help you launch
Doesn't
your
matter. Yeah,
podcast.
it's possibly a better offer, but the audience size that's coming to the sales page is still small.
Yeah.
You still try to make the best possible offer in the first case.
Yep.
And you still try to explain it in the best possible way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe a better offer, but still, you're not certainly going to get 10 times more people,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, I will. If you're going to go down this path of webinar, you should spend plenty of time on mastering the webinar thing. And it will take you a couple of months to do that, 2 to 3 solid months to figure out webinar right now. Or you could just sell through phone call, in which case you will not need as much effort to sell on webinar.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think I could do a webinar.
Okay. Well, then before you do webinar, you got to learn the market, which means you got to figure out everything that you're selling and exactly why they want it and all that stuff, and who your ideal audience is and all that stuff. You're going to have to figure it out.
Yep.
So pick your poison and go with it.
Yep.
Do it.
All right. I'm planning to do it.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun. I like the idea. If you really want to sell it now, you should just sell it now.
Yep, that's the plan.
So what is the plan?
The plan is I'm gonna be putting the word out through all the channels that I have. And then I'm gonna continue to I'm probably gonna tell people about a webinar here within the next week or so and see who I can get to sign up.
Okay.
And then we'll see where that lands me. Because I mean, it may work out. I may find out that I need to refine some of the messaging, but I think that feels like the best way to at least get feedback, if not get registers. So
yeah. With webinar, also remember you're gonna need to run ads. Because you will just need ads.
Yep.
Because the audience sizes, at least from our experiment so far, it's not the ones that coming to your website is still small.
Right.
Okay. I've been running a lot of A/B tests.
How's that working for you with for focus blocks, I assume?
Oh yeah. A lot of A/B tests to figure out what's working, what's selling, what's not selling. Dude, you learn so much from A/B testing you never learned from just running.
Oh, I'll bet.
Some random, like a lot of the thing that I was talking to John about as well is like, when we're running organic traffic, we don't really value the organic traffic as much as we value paid traffic because it's dollars going out. So when we're running paid traffic, it's so much more like you have to watch every penny like a hawk and know like, okay, spend this money, how much do I get back? Spend this money, how much do I get back? All right. And when you start obsessing like that, you start to pretty quickly find out, you have to. So the only way you survive in the ad world is to get your sales pitch to perform at a very high level.
Right.
In organic, you don't need that. In organic,
Right.
people don't test their sales pages forever
Right.
because it's like, okay, well, I don't need today.
Hmm.
It's like I'm not losing money today, but with paid, you're losing money every time your page is not converting as well as you could.
Right.
So the interesting thing is, as I'm running those split tests, I'm finding so much interesting uh, data point. Like literally one page to another, I have like 5 pages that I'm testing, like over
Mhm.
different split tests as they're being tested, and like I have taken the front end conversion from like 15% all the way to 21%, which is huge
Mhm.
because it's not 6% conversion. Some people
Right.
assume 15 to 21 is 6%. No, it's more like 40% conversion bump.
Oh, wow.
Because instead of getting 15 people in, I'm getting 21 people in.
Right.
So 21 over 15 is a 41%, 40% boost. Does that make sense? 21 is 40% more than 15.
Yes. That makes sense.
15 multiplied by 4 is 6, or 0.4 is 6. So
Yeah.
that's 15 plus 6 is 21.
Yep.
So 40%, like you get 40% higher just from some simple testing. That's basically
Right.
your ad cost down by that much,
Mhm.
right? Not only that, on the sales side, from the testing I've been able to do so far, one of the pages is converting at, so this was like the opt-in conversion for the sales page. And then the sales page itself is one of the pages, the one that I was testing initially, that converts at around
Mhm.
2%. And then there is another one at 1.7%, another one at 3%, another one at
Mhm.
1.9%, and one at 7%.
Right.
So to go from 2% to 7% isn't a 5% boost. It's
No, it's a
triple,
3 times Bruce. Yeah.
right? It's triple. So if you think
Yeah.
about it, conversion boosts like that are massive,
Mhm.
massive. It's not 15 to 21%. It's not 2 to 7%. It's more like I just lowered my ad cost by 3x, or my cost per
Right.
acquisition by 3x. Instead of paying $100 to acquire a customer or $150 to acquire a customer, now I can pay $50 to acquire a customer, which is basically the ad game. So the
Mhm.
ad game is more so about optimizing the heck out of your offer, like clarifying your offer, clarifying your sales pitch, clarifying everything to the max, and testing, testing, testing till you get it right. The
Right.
organic game is to pummel your audience with your messaging so much that they finally understand you. And organic game is basically
Mhm.
built on trust and trust only, while ad game is built on the crispness of the offer,
Right.
right? So if you look at the two sides of marketing, organic wins because of the trust you build with the audience, because of how much they've learned from you over a period of
Mhm.
time. Ads win because you're able to create a very crisp offer that hits the pain point very precisely, and you're able to get them to believe that because you
Mhm.
like because you're able to understand their pain so clearly, and because you're able to explain to them what the solution is, that's the reason why they buy from you. Organic
Right.
is trust. This is super crisp, super clear messaging and marketing and offer.
Mhm.
Two different games being played.
Yep.
Let me get some water. I'll be back.
Yep. No problem.
All right.
Right. So yeah, so now it's just making sure that it's all working and
Well,
lining up, right?
it never ends.
Right.
Right. The game of optimization never ends because um, every time you optimize one thing, there's one more thing to optimize.
Oh, of course. Well, the other thing is you can also optimize, hey, we're going to try these 2 or 3 headlines. Oh, we
That's
came up
exactly
with
what these sales pages are.
yeah, but we came up with a 4th or 5th headline that, given the feedback that we got or talking to people or whatever, right? And so you can wind up optimizing on one thing over and over and over again until you get it clicking along right. And then so it's not just, oh, we're going to test the font size, the font color, the message,
The hell
the
no.
headline.
That's the last
right?
thing you care to check.
I know.
The most important thing you need to test in a sales page is about the fold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Headline is the most important element, but just in general, about the fold is where all your focus needs to be. That's 80% of the results. And inside the about the fold, the most important thing is the headline.
Right. But my point is, yeah, you can optimize headline over and over and over again. And then you optimize the messaging right below the headline, or if you put a video there, which video or what's in the video, or, yeah. So, and you can do those over and over and over again. Right. And then come back and say, okay, this headline with this video seems to be working pretty good, but, the messaging in the video is this, and it kind of lends itself a little bit more to this kind of headline, and you go back, right? So
yeah, you basically, like, what I'm learning from all of this is that you really have to have a very scientific engineering approach to testing. That's what advertising is. Well, to me, advertising is much closer to engineering, while content marketing is much closer to being an author.
Right.
Yep. Because with me, the way like my business was before and the way it is today, before Focus Blocks, 2000 books by itself has been built all on content marketing.
Right.
And I feel like it was all based on me being the content creator and the writer or the creator, and me becoming more or less like the writer mind, the content mind, the writer of the whole world, if you want to call it, even though I never really wrote, I always did videos, but still, that is the content mind. And now with Focus Blocks, it's like, okay, I know it's an offer that is, or I know the product is insane. I know the product is so damn good that it fucking works every single time. If anyone gives it a shot, anyone who's listening here on Entrepreneur, if you give it a freaking shot, and if you don't like it for a whole month, get your freaking money back, every single penny of it. Chuck has used it. Chuck,
I love it.
Know how good that shit is. But everyone who's listening, and just last week, someone who was listening to Entrepreneur, he joined in, and he was like, Uzair, I'm gonna say hi to Uzair here on the call. He's from Canada. And he's like, yeah, I wasn't sure until I joined, but boy, I joined and it's like the most powerful thing ever. He's literally, this week, he's done 40 Focus Blocks.
Holy cow.
Since he joined. 40. The guy is on fire, right? He's getting shit done like a crazy man. He's like, I just, I wasn't sure, but I joined and it was like the most amazing thing ever. So I know the product is so damn good. But the problem is our messaging is still nowhere close to being that damn good. Our messaging and marketing is like, I feel like this is where life is right now for me. My messaging and marketing is here and the product is here. And I need to get my messaging and marketing to at least get close to what the product can do for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that means I have so much more testing to do compared to where I am at today. Because I don't believe our sales page is anywhere close to what it should be. And I don't believe we're getting anywhere close to the conversions that we should be getting on this product, especially given the fact that we're changing lives every single day.
Yep.
People swear by this shit. It's the best damn thing ever. I seriously, man. I believe in this more than I ever believed in 2000 books. And this is like, I believed in 2000 books a whole lot. I still believe in it. That's still a business that I have. Right.
Right.
I still believe I've changed a lot of lives because of the content we've created. It's been, people have changed lives as a result of it. But focus blocks is one of
Mhm.
those things I can change life in an hour. It doesn't take more than that. Like once you do it and once you use it, your life is different
Right.
because you can operate at a very high level as a result of it. So I
Yeah.
believe the product is up there, but my marketing is, even after 4 months, my marketing sucks.
Right. Yeah. The issue that I've had getting on it lately is that the times that I was hopping on, like we're getting up earlier to get kids to school, and that cut way into the morning time that I have. And so I'm trying to shift it into, okay, when I get back from carpooling kids to school and stuff like that, and just figuring out how to put it in the evening, maybe. Yeah, because everything got thrown up in the air when school started. Because my wife actually works over at the school my kids go to too, and so, or my younger kids, I drive my older kids to school.
So what's your
And
schedule in the morning these days? What time do you wake up
so
and how?
so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I wake up at 4 o'clock, but I have to be at the pool at 5. So, and then when I get home, it's read scriptures, get the kids ready,
What
and out
time
the
do you get
door.
back from the pool?
6:20 ish.
Oh, that's pretty quick. Okay.
And we've got to take them to school. I have to leave right after 7 to get them to school on time. So I usually wind up getting home around 8 in the morning, and so I could do a focus block there if I'm here on time. And it's about half the time that I'm in at 8 or before 8.
Hmm.
So that's that. And then I've got the full-time job, and so you know sometimes I get lunch at a regular time and sometimes I don't. And the starting on the hour is what throws some of that off, right? So, I'll wind up going to lunch at 11:30, right? Because that's when my team all rolls off for lunch. Or, we'll roll off at noon. If we roll off just before noon, then I can pop a focus block in right then. But
Hmm.
yeah, then in the evening it's just been so my wife is the lunch coordinator for the school, and they need to hire 2 more people to help her out. And so she's been she's been getting home when I would be looking at maybe doing another focus block or two. And then I've got to wrangle kids and get them to do homework and stuff like that, because she's just out of energy because she's doing 3 people's jobs. And so that's kind of been the deal lately. And so what I wind up doing is just squeezing the time in. It's like, okay, well, it's 11:30, I've got to get this stuff done, right? And so I just kind of um how do I put it, half-ass a focus, half a block, right? Until I can make it happen. And so yeah, that's been the rub lately, is just getting in. And it's like, oh well, it's not on the hour, and I just I don't know if I can stick around for the full focus block hour, when it finally rolls in. So that's kind of been the situation. But hopefully some of this gets cleared up. I think we're kind of settling in, because it's been different from other years going back to school too. So
Man,
it's insane. My life is just completely insane, just running from this to that to that to this to that. So I've been
that is
cramming this stuff
insanity.
in where I have time, but yeah,
What about the evening hours?
so it depends a little bit on what's going on with my wife or the kids, or both, right? So my 2 older daughters are in a play at the school, and so I've had to run them back and forth to play practice. um there have been a couple of nights where my wife's like at a concert or a game night or something, and so I'm looking at, okay, I might be able to pop a focus block in there, but that's the exception, not the rule. So I wind up running around, or she needs me to help her, because it completely wears her out and aggravates her back problems and stuff. And so I spend a bit of time, you know, just rubbing her back and helping her,
Man,
adjust, because life.
it's hard to run a business if you can't get even an hour to work on a business, like hour of
Yeah,
uninterrupted time.
it's
Like,
it's really
gosh,
tough.
dang.
There have been a couple of nights where I've stayed up late, but And maybe this has changed, but last time I looked, focus blocks didn't run 24 hours. And so,
What are you talking about? It runs 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday,
oh,
you crazy man.
oh, it does now. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's
Well, then
been
I'm going to start.
2 months.
Okay. Well, I'll have to look at that again because that was the other thing is I was like, I didn't even look because
No,
I was like,
it's
oh,
24 hours a month, 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday. Jump in anytime. Right
okay.
now, go. Anytime,
Yeah.
go. But only at the top of the hour. Start at the top of the hour.
Yeah. I've been
Don't.
tempted to get up at 3 in the morning instead of 4 in the morning and see if I can get one in there.
You might need to change up your workout thingy. And I don't want to even think like that. But what I'm trying to say is the way might be that you say you do focus blocks in the morning 4 to 6, and then you kind of change up your workout to the point where you run on a schedule
Yeah.
that you want.
Yeah. The only
Then-
rub is so at least Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that's the only time they offer that swim practice. And
That's what
she
I'm
gives
saying.
us
You
the
might just
workout.
have to you might have to drop that so that you can do your own
Yeah.
thing. You can still get a good workout by yourself if you
Yeah.
went for a run, or if you did a P90X, or if you did an Insanity.
Mm-hmm.
But you would still, what I'm trying to say is right now your workouts are taking up 2 hours of your life, 2 to 3 focus blocks of your life every single day, 2 hours of your life.
Mm-hmm.
What if you had those 2 to 3 hours of focus blocks in the morning available to you, but then you tried to squeeze in your workouts during the work hours, like 30 minutes here or 30 minutes there, like an Insanity workout session. So that way,
Yeah, maybe.
you know, I
I'm
hate to take away workout ideas, but I'm just figuring out
Yeah.
ways like how can you
Tuesdays
separate.
and Thursdays I can just get up and do focus blocks for a couple hours.
Yeah, I have no
yeah.
idea how you want to do it, but
Yeah,
I'm just coming
I'm
up
still
with
trying to
ideas,
figure it
giving
out.
our-
Yeah. I think I'm going to stick with the master swim class. I've just got to figure out some other way to do it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, it's stealing literally, I guess, one focus block from me every day.
No, 2, 3. Because if you woke up at 4, you could do 4 to 5 and 5 to 6. What are you talking about?
That's fair. Yeah, that's true. So that's 2.
And if you have to
This-
drop off your son, that's or
The 6 to
daughter,
7,
that's
that's carpool time, or that's get kids ready for school time. And then
right.
yeah, so that's an hour that's taken up one way or the other.
So
So
6 to 7 is taken up. But
yeah,
your
6
4
to
to
7
6
is gone.
available.
But I can do when I get back, I could just make sure I'm back by 8 and then do 8 to 9 because I don't have a meeting at work until 9:30. And so, I could just start my day then at work. So that gets me 4 because I have Adventures in Machine Learning at 8:30 on Fridays. But that's 4 right there, right? The other thing is I could push through and just say, hey, look, I'm taking lunch at noon every day, right? And that would get me another 4 or 5, depending on what's going on at the lunch hour.
What I'm
so
like, focus
I
blocks
think I
is just a
can-
way to evaluate how much time you're giving to your business
yeah,
for you right now. Like,
yeah,
if
and
you
right
can't
now
even
it's
give, even if you can't even give 10 focus blocks a week to your business, you can't make progress in your business. I'm sorry, I'm telling you front, because then you're just
but
getting
what
bits
I'm
and pieces
saying
of time
is
here and there.
I'm getting the time in, and I'm able to block out the because nobody's here until my son gets home from high school. So, and then he just sits downstairs and does whatever he wants. So it's really just so I've been putting in the time. I just haven't been putting it on a focus block because it hasn't aligned, and I just need to be a little more deliberate about that. I think is really what it's
That's
going
what
to
I'm
boil down
saying.
to.
If you can't give it, like, if you can't find an hour of time, undivided time for your business, then you're not giving
Well, I
time to your
can, but
business.
it starts at a half hour in the middle of the hour. A lot of times,
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if that's what's happening every single day, then you basically don't have any control over your time.
No, I don't, or at least
Yeah.
I haven't exerted effort in getting control of my time.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
that's the big problem in productivity, as Drucker would say. for as long as you have no control over your time, for as long as you're a slave to your time, you really cannot
Right.
be an effective executive because
Yeah.
you don't have the courage to impose. I'm not calling you out on this. I'm just talking productivity here in general.
No, but it's
like,
fair. You should be calling me out on it because I'm, just talking to you. I'm thinking of ways that I can exert some control.
because you need to, like, in many ways, like a lot of reasons, one of the big reasons why people actually enjoy focus blocks or come to focus blocks is because it forces them to carve out that time for work,
Right.
which normally can be eaten up by a lot of stupid shit.
Right.
Right. When you come to a focus block, you have decided, I'm going to spend this damn hour on this,
Mhm.
and nothing else comes in my way.
Right.
But if you don't have that available to you, then you, like, how are you going to be able to
Yeah.
spend, like, how are you going to give quality time to your business if you can't carve out 1 hour of time on it at a time for your business?
No, I agree. The thing is that for a lot of it, I've just got to sit down and figure out when those blocks are going to happen. And then
So
if
there are
there's
two
any way
schools of
around
thought.
it, I really don't want to give up the swimming class. So I
There,
think
there
I
are
can
two,
find another way. So
there are two schools of thought. Remember 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and the big
hmm
rocks
hmm
and the small rocks? Every focus block that you spend on your business is a big rock.
yeah.
If your business is a big rock to you,
hmm
right? So if you're telling me there are no focus blocks available for your business, you're telling me there are no big rocks available. Every focus block is a big rock. The
Right.
question is, are you going to use it, or are you going to fill up your jar with sand or pebbles and then wonder why I can't fit any more focus blocks in here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
No, it makes sense.
Because you cannot impose courage like that. You cannot
Mhm.
impose your will on the damn thing without putting your foot down and
Mhm.
saying, this is my time, this is how it's going to
Right.
be, and this is your time when I'm not
hmm
available, or this is the
Yeah.
time when I am available. So
Nope, that makes sense.
put the big rocks in, like,
Mhm.
start scheduling your fucking week with some big rocks in there so nobody can steal them from you.
No, I completely
Whatever you have to do,
agree.
you need to carve out
Yeah.
time in the morning, you need to carve out time in the afternoon, you need to carve out time in the evening, you need to carve out time in the night. It's your business. Like, if
Yep.
you're not going to give your business 10 undivided, undistracted hours, it's going to be really hard.
Yeah. Nope, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. A lot of times when people come to me for, like, help with, well, focus blocks and like help with productivity in general, the question inevitably is around the idea that, hey, I just don't have time in my schedule. And
hmm
my answer every single time is, you never will have time. The question is, will you make time? Will you carve out
Right.
time for what is important to you? When you tell me you don't have time, you're telling me it's not important. And if
Yeah.
it's not important, why are we having this conversation?
Nope, you're right.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
And if it's important, let's carve out the time right now. Let's put it on the
Yep.
calendar, and then we can talk about it.
Yep. No, I hear you. Yeah, I'm definitely just doing that right now. Actually, I'm getting onto my
Yeah.
calendar and going, all right, you know,
I swear, man, if you just say, come hell or high water, I must do 10 focus blocks
hmm
a week, your business will take
yep.
another level. Just the act of doing that, just doing 10 focus blocks a week will put your business on the next level.
Nope, you're absolutely right.
Because otherwise, those 20 minutes here and 30 minutes there, that's not really work.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to just nail stuff down because I kind of get into the mode and then I'm out, right?
Yeah.
I'm back out. So
No,
yeah.
the 20 minutes here, 30 minutes here are never what business, like CEO
Yeah.
work, is for.
Nope, I hear you.
You know, you're just going to find yourself being very unhappy.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess that was my thought.
I wasn't
I'm
trying to
like,
push you
dude,
that way, but yeah.
right? I'm like, dude, please. You're gonna tell me no time. I'm gonna tell you you don't care, right?
Well, yeah. But I'm not saying I don't have time. The difference has just been, you know, some of it's been just making it align with everything else. And then the other piece has
Here,
just
here's
been,
here's one thing I really want to challenge you with. Instead of saying, and think about this, like instead of saying I don't have time, I can't do it,
uh-huh.
say I choose to not do a focus block on my business. I choose to do
Right.
this instead, or I choose to do that is what is the truth. We tell
Yes.
ourselves the lie that I can't or I won't be able to or I'm unable to do that because of blah. The truth is everything is a choice. We're making the choice. You're making a choice right
No,
now,
it's true.
right? So you say, I am choosing to not spend time on my business in an uninterrupted fashion, right?
Right.
You have to own up to that.
Right. No, that's
Right?
true. And it's funny because I mean, I was talking to somebody about like all the triathlon training and stuff. And so I've been running and biking and swimming. And my legs are just sore. They hurt so bad. I get up and hobble like an old man. And I guess this is my point too, is that as much as the decision to be around for and do or not do focus blocks like this, um, ultimately I'm the one that makes the decision, right? I'm the one that chose to, put on my running clothes and go for a run, even though it hurt,
Mhm.
right? I was the one
Mhm.
that chose to go get in the pool, even though it hurt, right?
Mhm.
I woke up this morning and I walked out to my truck and I was like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good. It doesn't hurt so much. And then I got home from the pool and I sat down on the couch and, you know, kind of, ushered my kids through the get ready for school process. And then when I
Mhm.
got up to go to carpool, it was like, oh wow, I'm really hurting again. And my wife said something about, well, your coach is making you do this. And I looked at her and said, no. I said, yeah, he gave me the workouts, but I chose to do them, right? And it's the same thing here, right? Is for your business, and maybe this is my thought, is, yeah, it's not the, somebody else is making you do this. Is not, and that's kind of the hard thing about entrepreneurship sometimes is there's nobody looking over your shoulder and going, do this, do this, do this, right? Um, but at the end of the
That's
day,
why we do this.
yeah, that's why we do
That's
this,
why we
right?
do
So
this
I can
stuff.
get called out, and it's like you're telling me you don't have time, and I'm saying, I'm trying to make the excuse. No, I'm not saying that I don't have time. Realistically, what I am saying is that I'm not, I haven't over the last 2 weeks gone to the effort of carving out the time that I need to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, because honestly, that's what it was. It was an excuse, right? It was like, no, I'm not saying I don't have time. I'm just saying that I'm not showing up for focus blocks because yada yada yada, right? And the
Yeah. You're
reality is
choosing
is
not to do it.
I'm choosing not to do it, right? I'm choosing not to make it a priority. I mean, if I need to be home by 8 a.m. to start a focus block, I can do that, right? I mean, barring an
Mhm.
accident on the freeway or something stupid when I'm coming home, right?
You make other people
Uh,
rush. You make other people run. You make other people submit to your kind of
right.
schedule, you know?
Yeah, but my point is that, can I be home by 8 o'clock for a focus block? Yes. Will they care about it at work? No. Can I take my lunch at noon instead of 11:30 every day and just, if the rest of my team rolls off and says we're taking lunch now, yeah. And if they decide to roll off and do it at 12:30, can I do it at noon and put a focus block in there? Yeah, I can. And nobody's going to give me any crap about it unless there's a meeting
Mm-hmm.
scheduled, right?
Mm-hmm.
um you know can I when I'm done with my regular workday, can I put a focus block in there? Yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been pretty flexible with me about it, right? My wife does have a thing every Thursday night, right? Sometimes it gets moved to Wednesday, but I just move my focus blocks over, right? um can I schedule my workouts around my focus blocks? Yeah, I can do that too, right?
Yeah.
And so the reality is yeah, if you really want something, you got to take the responsibility and do it, right? And it's the same
You will
thing the
feel
other
so
way,
much
right?
better about yourself. when you start
Yeah.
doing that, when you start owning your,
Mhm.
your intentions and saying, okay, no, this is what
Yeah.
I'm doing. Nothing else happens during this hour.
Mhm.
And you put your foot down, you will feel like,
Yeah.
okay, my life's, I feel so much, I feel in
Yeah.
sync. I feel calm and collected. I feel like I am ready for,
Yeah.
other things in life as
So
well.
yeah. But the flip side of that is also, even if you do have somebody looking over your shoulder and saying, hey, you can do this here. Hey, you can put this in here. Hey, you can make this work here. Realistically, once again, you're ultimately the one that's taking the action, right? So with this coach, it's still my decision to go out and go run. It's still my decision to go get on my bike. It's still my
Mhm.
decision to go to swim practice, 3 times a week. It's my decision to do this other stuff that I say is important to me. And so, because it's my decision, then I ultimately have control over it. And I can say, okay, well, maybe I can move this here, right? Maybe I can move my running time to this time in the evening, or maybe I can move this to this, and make that work. And
Mhm.
so the reality is that, for all the, hey, I haven't been able to make it work, realistically, the truth is that at the end of the day, I could take control of it and make it, conform to what I need to put in.
100%. It's our choice
So,
for everything in
yep.
life. So my thoughts, I guess my final thoughts is, for everything that we say in life that I can't, or I am being forced to, or I'm unable to, 99% of the times it's our choice. We are actually,
Mhm.
especially in a world, I'm not talking about a place like Afghanistan. I'm talking about a place like the US today, right?
Mhm.
I understand things are crazy out there in that part of the world, or wherever, in
Right.
many parts of the world. But in a country like America, where you have everything available to you, the idea to say I can't, or I'm unable to, or I am like this is being imposed or something like that,
Right.
most of the times it's our choice. 99% of times, of course, there's always exceptions
Right.
for whatever going on. 90% of the time, it's your choice, and you have the power to do what you want with your time, with your
Yep.
life, rather than blame any external circumstances.
It's more comfortable to blame the external circumstances, though, and that's why we do it. But if you're really being realistic and recognizing that it's not going to get where you want to go. And so
Oh
if you
yeah,
can get to the place where you can recognize, hey, look, if I really want it, I've got to figure out how to get there, right? Not I've got to figure out all the reasons why I can't get there. And you see people do this all the time. And sometimes it's stuff that's realistically hard. And sometimes it's stuff where it's a socially acceptable excuse. And so I'm guilty of this all the time. I'm guilty of this, right? It's, oh, well, this is a socially acceptable excuse for me to not deliver. And the reality is no.
I
If I
chose
want
not
that
to.
outcome, I've got to go do it. I've got to go hit it and, make sure that I'm nailing it down. So,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
choosing not to.
Yeah. And I think, coming back around to some of the discussions we've had in the past, I'm betting that a lot of this is going to fall under why some people don't try out focus blocks on the level you want them to, and then peel off and get a refund, or peel off and don't renew. And it's because, they're still in the mode of, I want to get stuff done, but I'm going to make these excuses to not show up and do it. And I don't know how you push people over that edge. I mean, I have
Yeah.
you and John. I've got a couple of other guys that I talk to on a regular basis, and they'll call me out of my crap, right? I'll tell them this and they'll be like, well, then you don't want it. Or, well, then,
Mhm.
here are some ideas on how you can do it. But the reality is that you're not doing it because, you don't have a good reason, that what you're
Yeah.
giving us is an excuse. It's not a real reason.
Yeah.
And so you've got to find those people who are going to hold you accountable. And what's
Yeah.
funny is accountability has kind of become this dirty word, right? Where it's like where they're going to punish you or they're going to make you feel bad. But the reality is that accountability is critical, because you're not going to become the person that you want to be unless you have somebody looking at what you're putting in front of them and going, I'm sorry, but this stinks a little, right? Or it stinks a lot. Or, hey, I thought you were about this and you're telling me you're about this. And then the reality is your actions don't line up with it. And so if you're out there and you're trying to figure out, okay, why isn't any of this working for me? It is quite a bit easier if you have people to go to say, hey, look, Chuck, if you really want this, you're going to put focus blocks into your schedule and have you, and then you have to be willing and humble enough to accept it too and say, you're right. If I really do want this, then I really do need to go put in this, this effort in this way. So,
yeah. I challenge everyone out there. Like if you can do 10 focus blocks on your most important goal every single week, you will be crushing the damn thing.
Yeah.
10 focus blocks a week.
Find somebody to do it with you, right? Find somebody who's going to help you figure out what to put in those focus blocks, who's going to come in and say, you did 8, you said 10, right?
Yeah. And we're going to be actually adding that second kind of VIP level of accountability calls, which will be basically a daily or weekly, I haven't figured out, of accountability coaching with this, where you meet with your accountability coach every single day or every single week, depending on which level it is. And you commit to what it is you'll work on through the week. And you'll say, okay, I'll do these many focus blocks. And then the next day you're going to show up, or the next week you're going to show up. I did this much and this is what I got done. Basically accountability coaching to the max.
Yeah.
The
12-week year talks about that with weekly accountability meetings with your group. And you just get on, hey, here's how I did last week. Here's what I'm doing this. I mean, because they don't have to be very long. But I know if I'm going to show up and I'm going to be like, so, I didn't do it. I mean, I better be showing up and saying I was afraid somebody was going to die, right? Or, because otherwise, I don't want to show up and get called out on my bull crap.
Yeah.
So
cool. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
And thanks
for calling me out on my bull crap.
You got it. And for all of you who are listening and wondering what the hell is focus blocks, just go to focusblocks.io, blocks.io, and give it a shot. If you don't like it, tell me, and I'll give you your money back and an additional $10 on top of it. No, an additional $20. If you do 5 focus blocks in a week and you don't like it, come get your money back and I'll give you $20 back, because I believe in this shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you get your money back, and then you can go clog your arteries with 2 Big Macs.
Exactly. Because if you can do 5 focus blocks in a week and then you can come and tell me it's not working for you, I want to give you like $20 back, because I can't help you. And nobody in the world can help you at that point, because this is a system that's better than anything that's ever been created, in my opinion. So if I can't help you, go ahead, take my money, man. But I'm going to say, I can't fucking change your life. That's what I say.
Yep. All right. Good deal.
All right, man.
Well, I think we've given a bunch of thoughts, and I think we're done. So yeah. I'll see you next week. And I think with what I put into my calendar, I think I'll have 10 focus blocks before I talk to you next.
I love it. I'm going to have one of our, by the way, we are tracking this now, so you don't really have any excuses. We have leaderboard. We literally have leaderboards on focus blocks right now. So
oh wow,
we are tracking user behavior, and one of the Entreprogrammers guys who joined, one of the Entreprogrammers listeners, Usain, who joined this week, he did 40 focus blocks, so he's the leader this week. And the closest second is a guy in his 30 plus focus blocks this week. So we're tracking every user, and we know exactly how many focus blocks you're going to be doing this week, or you're doing this week. So Chuck, I know what you're going to do. So you can't even lie when you come. If you're saying 10 focus blocks this week, when you come to Entrepreneur call next week, I will know exactly how many focus blocks you did.
Yeah.
I know what you did last summer.
Well, and I think that's an interesting commentary on it too, right? Is that, when we started talking about, well, are you putting in the time? My answer was, yeah, I'm putting in time, but it's nice to be able to say, well, I put in 8 blocks, right? So I know I did at least 8 hours of focus time. And And so you can kind of get your own self accountability there too.
Boom. Yeah, that is the part that was, I think, sort of kind of not available until now,
Mhm.
but that's going to be fun because now you know
Yep.
you can't lie anymore to yourself.
Yep.
The proof is in the
Well,
numbers.
And that's the real insidious thing is that, like, I come and I feed bullcrap excuses to you, right? And this is hard and that's hard, and so I didn't make an effort. But the reality is that if you see the numbers, like the real numbers, because I didn't track my time. I promise I didn't track my time, right? I didn't say, okay, I spent 2 hours on this and 1 hour on this and a half hour on that. I didn't. And so do I realistically know that I put 10 hours in last week on the stuff I had to get done? No, I don't. Do I think I did? I think I might have, right? But I don't
And were
actually
they
know.
10 solid, uninterrupted
Right.
focus
Were
blocks
they
of time, or
quality
were they more
hours or
like,
was it?
were they more
Yeah.
like 10 hours, which are more like total of 2 hours, to be honest, to me these days? Like when I
Right.
work in a focus block compared to when I try to do an hour of
Mhm.
work, it literally is like 3 hours of work getting done in 1 hour with a focus block.
Well,
And
and
you know that,
that's the
you've seen
point,
that
right?
already.
Is
Yeah.
is it was it 10 hours or was it 10 hours of, well, I put in 15 minutes and then I pulled out my phone and I goofed off on my phone for 10, and then I went back to work on it and I put in another 15 minutes and I goofed off on my phone for another 5 minutes.
As the great Drucker says, Peter Drucker, in the book Effective Executive, he says, dribs and drabs of time, even if the total amount is humongous, has no value whatsoever. He's like,
Right.
dribs and drabs of time, even if the total amount goes up to 12 hours a day, is much less productive than a
Yeah.
solid chunk of time, uninterrupted time, for 3 hours.
Yeah, I was
Right.
going to say, I wouldn't say no value because work did get done. But if I'd had an hour to focus on it, I easily, compared to that hour, even if you take out the goof off on my phone chunks out of it, any
double,
given
triple
hour
your
wouldn't have been near.
output.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah, that's exactly why people come and do focus blocks, because they know they will double, triple their output every single time.
Yep.
Compared to working by themselves.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. We did quite
Yep.
a lot of productivity talk today. Well,
Yep.
good stuff, man.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll see you next week.